Exorcisms. To compel an evil spirit or demon to leave the location or body of the victim who is possessed. This is done by calling on God and speaking in His name through the words and actions of a priest. Before a priest is to perform an exorcism, he must receive permission from the local bishop. This is done after confirming it is an actual case of demonic possession, rather than some other effect, such as mental illness or the influence of an illicit substance.
Sometimes psychiatrists send to us cases. They know very well the psychiatric science, but sometimes they have said to me, the more I attend this individual, the more I think this is nothing to be with a mental disease.
I can often be very helpful to a priest in giving him the confidence that this is beyond the psychiatric or beyond the medical. People, for instance, perhaps in past history at times would interpret seizure disorders as some kind of demonic involvement.
Once confirmation is given by the proper religious authority, the priest who will perform an exorcism on a location or body should first go to confession, or at the very least perform an act of contrition to remove any sin he may have before the act takes place. Commonly, there will be at least one other priest on hand to assist in the exorcism and offer as much religious presence as possible. Once before the possessed body, he will trace the signs of the cross above the body as well as himself and any others who are before him. From there, he will sprinkle holy water on all that is involved and begin to say the litany of the saints, a series of petitions, with all involved making the responses. From there, an exorcism can be quick and direct, while others may last hours.
The process of exorcism goes along with the process of putting order in the soul of that person. And sometimes it's needed 2 days, 4, 10, sometimes the process will take more than a year.
There is no time limit to connect and eventually persuade the evil spirit to leave the body it has possessed. The steps a priest makes while performing an exorcism is quite formal. There is a precise order in how an exorcism is to be performed. This can be found in what is known as the rite of exorcism.
And the solemn rite of exorcism is supposed to be authorized only to an authorized exorcist by the bishop of the diocese.
This manual contains the formal procedure to perform an exorcism sanctioned by the Catholic Church, first written in 1614 under Pope Paul V. At the time when this was written, it stressed to be cautious of symptoms that may appear demonic. However, no possession is present, and the symptoms are brought on by some other medical explanation. The rite of exorcism's text was left untouched until 1952, but these changes focus primarily on the wording. However, with medical advances ever changing, what was once viewed as demonic possession could now be confirmed as other mental ailments.
There may have been some confusion about sickness and certain dramatic psychiatric or neurological conditions. But, there's certainly enough expertise available to most priests as they're working with these cases that an experienced doctor can often give the priest involved confidence that, this is clearly beyond simply a medical or a psychiatric state.
Though there is great interest in this topic and a vast demand for answers surrounding it, the Church has remained tight-lipped and secretive about exorcisms. The reasons when we return. In order to exorcise a demon, the process must be done with completely pure intentions. The sole purpose of an exorcism is to cast a demon out of a person's body and nothing else. If the intent is to gain fame, publicity, or to be credited as a hero, then the ritual won't work. That is why cameras, the media, or other spectators are forbidden from attending an exorcism. Such an event is not a show.
People often say, there's two errors with the devil. One is to pretend the devil doesn't exist, but the other is to be preoccupied with it. And I don't think people should become preoccupied with it. As Christians and Catholics, we're on the winning side.
Exorcisms and demonic possessions have been a successful subject in media. There have been dozens and dozens of books written on the subject to the ever-popular The Exorcist, the novel-turned-film of the same name. This 1971 film has been the primary way for the general public to see the events of an exorcism. The Exorcist went on to become one of the most profitable horror films in history. Even though the special effects and storyline are dramatized for the film, the events that take place shadow what a true exorcism is like. This mysterious, dark subject has been entertaining literature and movie fans for years. Because of the serious nature of an actual, real exorcism, a very small percentage has witnessed the real thing.
We had a case once where a woman was possessed. She was about 100 pounds. She threw a 200-pound man across the room. During the exorcism, you can imagine, I'm a pretty big guy myself, we needed a number of people to hold this woman down while the demonic entity was speaking through her.
It is true that there are cases of possession that at the very moment you put something sacred on his body, or you show up to him, or you sprinkle with holy water, there is the reaction of the demon inside, yes. But most of the cases you have to insist for many minutes with a lot of concentration, because they want to resist, they want to hide their presences in the bodies.
These books and movies have been the only way for the general public to experience what unfolds during this very serious event. So far, we have learned about Satan's journey into hell and the demons he sent out to possess the souls of innocent people. Then we explored the rituals of an exorcism, which we use to fight off such demons and human possession. When we return, we will continue to unravel the facts tightly wrapped around exorcisms, by far one of the darkest mysteries of the Church.